Hey y'all, welcome back to Little Acre Homestead. My name is Rowan.
My name is Alex.
And today on Recipes Kept, we are making porcupine balls. This recipe comes from my grandmother's recipe tin, and I had to look up what it was because the name sure is not descriptive. So porcupine balls are essentially a meatball that have rice in them, and when they are cooked in a heavy bottom pot in the stove, covered in tomato soup. They were a Depression era recipe because they are two previously affordable staples: rice and ground beef. As is tradition with these recipes, there are not a lot of directions and also not a lot of ingredients, so it's very open-ended. I looked up a few recipes online, so we're going to be making these kind of an Italian style meatball, and tonight, just to make sure that everybody eats it, we're going to serve it with spaghetti. The recipe says that you should include 1 pound of ground beef. You can also use ground turkey, half a cup of rice, and then it says onion, etc. season. Lots of the recipes that I looked up do include a whole onion in the recipe, but we're going to leave those out this time and instead use onion powder. We're also going to use some garlic powder. I love you. Some paprika, basil, parsley, and oregano as well. And then of course salt and pepper. After that, we're gonna turn them into little balls, put them in a heavy pot, cover them in tomato soup and a half can of water. And then they will cook at 325 for 1 to 1.5 hours. And then the last direction is, quote, try. Ready to get started?
My mom is getting the stuff.
So after I was done getting stuff, we started mixing everything together. We used the ground beef, we had rice that we had washed, and then we used our spices. Really just kind of guessing here since there were no instructions, but we used about a half to a full teaspoon each of salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, basil, parsley, and oregano. I think next time if I make this, I'm probably gonna cut the paprika completely or use way less. It tasted a little smoky for me. Well, it's meat with rice in it. I don't know about this. When I told my mom that I was going to give this recipe a try, she said that porcupine balls are supposed to have brown sugar in them. I'm not sure what other flavors would go well with the brown sugar, so maybe I'll try that next time. I also recommend cooking a very small portion of your meat mixture before you roll it into balls so that you can adjust for spices and flavoring. You can do this on the stovetop in a skillet so that you have a chance to adjust the flavor in the meatballs before you bake them off. All right, y'all, so this is what they look like. It made 18 meatballs, which is more than enough for our family for a whole meal, so that's great. We're gonna serve this with spaghetti tonight, so right now they're going to go in the oven at 325 with the soup in there, and then also I'm gonna cover it with tin foil. So the recipe doesn't say to, but I think that if we don't cover it, the soup would evaporate and caramelize, and then the rice wouldn't get cooked because it is raw rice. So I think having it covered is going to let that rice actually cook. See you back here in 1 to 1.5 hours. I hope they're good. Y'all, I really don't know about this recipe. Hello, thanks to Video Magic, it's actually been a few hours and we had a birthday party to go to, and I'm not gonna pretend that we didn't. So now we're gonna put everything in the oven. I added the tomato soup and the half can of water per the very limited instructions, and I'm gonna make the executive decision to not cover it because the meatballs are fully submerged. So we'll see what happens. All right, now I'll actually see you in about an hour to an hour and a half. Everything's baked at 325. Bye. All right, the porcupine balls are done and they took almost exactly an hour. Let's give them a try. Here's what they look like. Here's what they taste like. I'm gonna go pretend that these are really good so that everybody eats them, but this is not going in my recipe tin. And I hope it doesn't go in yours either. I tested it so you don't have to. Thanks for stopping by Little Acre Homestead and for subscribing. Please don't try this recipe, or if you do, let me know how to make it better. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.